Okay, so how are we going to prove it? Well, let's do this. What is E the fourth of? B. So let's do something in B for the sake of people who like to play in B anyway. So we're going to take 6 strings. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 strings right there. Okay, so we're not going to need these guys up here. And we're not going to need these guys down here in the X3XL. And my apologies for it not being a full pattern, but that's what it's about, trying to make patterns so we can play a full X3XL kind of thing, or a single shape, a single double shape, or something like that. But we'll see how that works out. I did solve that problem for the Capo scales, the finger barred scale. So any shape we choose, like A shape, okay, it's defined by a full patterns only. The single shaped A on top. I've got some tape in the way here, probably up on this B here. And then in between, how many strings are left in between if we're going to define it by the bottom and the top? 4, so it's an S4L shape fitting. It goes over 1 fret and starts. Warp up on that last string. So that's a perfect S4L in the middle there. Because we used the single string shape definer patterns that are now only with the Capo patterns are only on the top or the bottom string where they belong, because they're definers anyway. So what are we looking at? We're looking at right here. Now we're going to warp this over. This has to be warped up here. Okay, and this is going to become our playable. I believe it'll look like this. Now what are we looking at here? Let's see if we can make this a little bigger. What are we looking at here? If we've got, don't forget our 4 here. Don't forget the 4 here. I almost forgot the 4 here, there. Because when I cut those notes out, I cut out the bottom part of it. So the fret nut is here, okay, and our guitar itself, here's the open, our guitar diagram. Here's the guitar, okay, and then back here, we've got the strings. We've got the strings back here. So there, the fret nut's there, but this is how we diagram. This is how I diagram the open strings. As a matter of fact, if I was going to put the notes on here, and I have done that, it's backwards, upside downy. You can see them. They're actually under the strings. That's where those notes are. That yellow note on top, that's the C, because mine's tuned to a C. So it's behind the fret nut, the open note. So what is E? Now that becomes E there on your guitar which I have a guitar that's tuned normally, but then I down tune the strings anyway to make it an A flat instrument. That's terrible. I'll have to fix that. I like this design better, where I just put a capo on and say this is where your guitar's at. So the E, what is E the fourth of? It's the fourth of B. So this is going to be a B diatonic. And what I've got here is we've got a C-A definer S1. We've got an S1 CA here. Okay. Now we know we're not going to do the whole thing, which would be like this. The whole CA. Luckily, we have it right over here. Here's your entire CA looking at full string shape. But sometimes we don't have to look at the full string shape. If we're doing pentatonics, we don't have to look at the full string shape, right? In the case of C and A, we would have to do 3, 5, and 6. We'd look at the full length of that. But with another that starts on 7 with the E and the D string shape, look at this. This is the full length of the string shape. But if you look at it pentatonically, the length of the E and the D string shape pentatonically would only be root 2, 3 like that. So since we're defining a new realm here where we've got to get away from this fret nut so we can do our patterns that go below the bar, so to speak, the finger bar, we're going to define a single string shape here, as a CA string shape that's an extra long. So CAXL. That's probably what that would be. Let's test the theory now. So we're going to do the CA string shape 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to do our S4L with a warp top, and then we're going to play the 5, 6, 7 there. So remember, 4, 5, 6 is the top part of that S3XL, isn't it? Our S3XL, where's that? We've got one. We've got an S3XL here. It's right here. We could just crop it right out of that diagram. That's one of the uses of the double string ladder diagram. So there's our S3XL. We're going to start on the top, but instead of saying this is the top part of an S3XL and here's the imaginary third down here, get away from that and let's just look at, we'll do on the bottom what we call a CA extra long. It's an extra long pattern designed to be used with the S3XL to get away from that fret nut. So here we go. 4, 5, 6, and then we're going to do, I'm going to take the capo off so I can actually play this thing. And then we're going to, remember that capo's there, so we're not going down here for anything. So that's easy shape fitting, my friends. You don't have to worry about where's this 7 go. Okay, actually it is shape fitting because it goes one up like that. Okay, that is shape fitting, my bad. See, I would have played it wrong. But here we go in the key of B. 4, 5, 6, 7 root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 root. And then on top we're going to have 4, 5, 6 again. Okay, no, we went into a 5, 6, 7 there. Now that's interesting. Okay, so what we did, we started an S3XL up there. My bad there. My bad, but we've got to find these things out, If you could look at that as 2/3 up there. So it's an S3XL down here. Right, we went over one. So look at the 5 and the 5 there. So keeping in mind, that brought us over. Now let's get back to our pattern stack there. And look at that again. So let's do that. Should be able to find that pattern stack. Oh, that was our pattern stack. Okay, well, we can see right here the S4L sits on top of that S3XL. So just like over here, this is our B. This is our B. We got 4, 5, 6. We do that S4L nicely in there, but then we go, that takes us over. When it takes us over, then we're over here on the 5, 6, 7 on the next one up. So that's good. It worked. I didn't.